From mouth-watering street food to eloquent Michelin-starred cuisine and everything in between, Venice has a lot of restaurants, but finding the good ones, the outstanding ones, can be a bit of a challenge. And as a food tour guide working here, I'm constantly researching and updating my list of top-rated restaurants at every price point, separating the true hidden gems from the overrated hype. So if you're coming to Venice and wondering where to eat, let me show you my favorite spots. Let's start with your most affordable options. And while it's true that Venice is Italy's most expensive city, what if I told you that you can eat well here for under 10 euros? Because Venetians are masters of street food, or aperitivo. The problem is that there's no shortage of cheap crap being peddled to unsuspecting tourists at every street corner. However, there's still a few canteen-style restaurants and honest bars that cater to local working-class families and students. So if you're on a budget, you should check out these gems.
Venetian cuisine is renowned for its cicchetti, the city's equivalent of tapas. These are a fantastic introduction to the local food scene. And while there's a few great baccari serving delicious cicchetti in Venice, let me share you one of my favorites, Vino Vero. Known for its extensive Italian wine selection, the quality, freshness, and creativity of their cicchetti will amaze you. They offer a variety of unique flavor combinations featuring Veneto's finest cheeses, vegetables, meats, and fish. The place is popular and can get quite busy, so stay tuned for my cicchetti guide video for more incredible locales serving these little treasures. Anyway, a cicchetti here costs about 3 euros, and while locals typically enjoy 1 or 2 as an aperitivo, other people often turn them into an improvised meal. But yes, you can find even cheaper options. At Da Lele, you can enjoy small paninis with prosciutto and other toppings for just €1.20. Pair it with a classic ombra, that is an inexpensive glass of house wine for under €5 altogether. This spot has become popular amongst budget travelers due to its incredibly low prices. And at that price point, one can't complain. However, the paninis are mostly bread with a little filling, so you might be better off getting a proper meal at the next place. Now, anyone who knows me knows my passion for tramezzini. These Venetian sandwiches are protein-packed and perfect for between meals. While they're available in many cafes, I recently discovered bar Rialto da Lollo, where the tramezzini are exceptionally stuffed full of delicious protein. Just look at this! With its own deli counter, this cafe doesn't skimp on portions. It's a great option for a quick snack to keep you energized while exploring the city. Now here's a low-key, lively, and completely unpretentious Venetian diner situated in one of my favorite neighborhoods, Castello. Wine is tapped straight from the barrel, and the kitchen is run by Venetian ladies who serve up great local classics. I highly recommend the house special, black cuttlefish ink spaghetti. While this dish is almost on every menu in Venice, the version here is my favorite rendering of it. Their tiramisu is also one of the best I've had. Bring your friends, bring your family, and let the good times roll. When I want a great meal without spending too much, I love going to Cantina, Aziende, Agricole. This small, quiet, and unpretentious spot focuses on high quality at low prices. I mean, look at these prices for quality wines. It doesn't get better than this. Their daily menu features fresh ingredients and herbs, evident from the first bite. Simple pasta dishes are elevated with careful attention, and you'll find classic Venetian dishes like sarde in saor, along with harder-to-find creations like asparagus risotto and biggoli alla natra, which is a duck ragu pasta. It's the perfect place for a quiet, laid-back, delicious dinner with 1 to 4 people. For a charming atmosphere, Nono Risorto boasts one of the loveliest green terraces in Venice. Their beautifully lit garden, nestled among Venetian palazzi, offers a serene dining experience. And despite its potential to being converted into a trendy hotspot, this restaurant maintains fair prices. serving Venetian classics and featuring even their own pizza oven. It's a favorite amongst locals, with plenty of Italian heard at the tables. It's an ideal spot to visit with friends and family or for a casual date.
If we bump the budget up a notch to the mid-range, you'll find a plethora of outstanding restaurants. This is where things get interesting, with the quality regional dishes made from fresh local ingredients. Unfortunately, this is also where you'll encounter the most tourist traps, serving mediocre fare.
It's the schmee. That's the schmee right there. Everything's bullshit.
And as you'll see, sometimes telling those two apart can be more difficult than you may think.
If you want to chow down on massive amounts of fresh seafood weighed by the kilo in a loud, casual, rustic, fisherman-type canteen, Paradiso Perduto in Cannareggio is the place to go. While it gets really busy with locals, artists, and students, the lineup is worth it, as you can either be seated inside or take your plate out to enjoy your feast of Venetian fish and seafood by the side of the canal. Great place to go with friends after having had an aperitivo on the Fondamenta della Misericordia. Would I come back here? Absolutely. Next up is a beautiful little restaurant hidden in a quiet calle called Assassini, the alley of the assassins. Its beautiful Arabian doors invite you into an elegant classic place that plays jazz on vinyl and has a small menu promising high quality. I decided to try Osteria Alla Testiere because of its advertised catch of the day sourced directly from the Rialto fish market. But to be honest, it's hard to find subpar seafood in Venice. I mean, the city is literally built on water. This little establishment, nestled in a busy calle with lots of tourist traffic, kind of fell short of the expectations it set. The menu featured vegetables from the gardens on San Erasmo Island and interesting flavor profiles like cinnamon and squid gnocchi, coriander and lime. However, everything tasted surprisingly bland. And given the higher price point, it felt like a restaurant going through all the motions but offering nothing exceptional. Would I go back here? No. For about the same amount of money but with so much more interesting creations, I recommend Estro. I mean, the door's ornamentation is already a promising sign. Located in the quiet Testiere of Dorsoduro, it's completely off the beaten path, ensuring a more local experience. The atmosphere is comfortable, laid back, and modern. But the food! The menu features many fresh dishes and catch-of-the-day options without making a big fuss out of it. To begin, a few pleasant surprises showcased ingredients like sage, sesame, and an interesting focaccia alla puttanesca. The pasta with suckling pig was brilliant and full of textures and flavors, and not to mention the crispy eel that I had afterwards. After the first dish though, I was convinced I had found a gem, making the price completely irrelevant. I knew I was in good hands. Would I come back here? Yes, to discover all the things that I didn't order yet.
Finally, let's talk about the high-end spectrum. This is where you'll find menus that charge anything from 30 euros for tiramisu to, well, the sky's the limit. But more often than not, these prices are based on hype or prime location, like a nice view on the Grand Canal, for example, rather than the actual quality of the food itself. And if you're paying high prices, but the food is mediocre, well,
it's the schmee. That's the schmee right there.
So if we're gonna blow some serious cash, let's at least make sure we get some real good food. So get your credit cards and your appetites ready.
Now, amongst the famous, the timeless monuments of Venice, such as St. Mark's Basilica, the Doge's Palace, Rialto Bridge and co., there's also a bar that had established itself as an integral part of Venice's landmarks. That bar is Harry's Bar. If you haven't heard of it, you'll surely have heard of the famous creations that have been invented here by its flamboyant founder, the legendary Giuseppe Cipriani. This is the birthplace of the Carpaccio and the Bellini cocktail. This establishment has been a watering hole and dining place for an endless list of prominent writers, musicians, film stars, and royalty. It's the kind of place you need to reserve well in advance, but despite all this, it's a very modest setting. Crowded, loud, and filled with very interesting characters. If you come here to eat, expect an experience that is sadly becoming more and more rare in our modern culinary scene. You know, plates mounted at your table, waiters in white tuxedos. It's something out of an Ian Fleming novel. I would go here with friends or two couples after a night out, at a concert or an exhibition at the Biennale. Oh, and if you want to learn more about Harry's Bar, its founder Giuseppe Cipriani, and the invention of the carpaccio, I made a video exactly about that you can check out. Alright, it's time. If we're gonna talk about the best restaurants in Venice, I wanted to present you with the cream of the crop, il meglio del meglio. Let's shoot for the stars. And after a lot of research, I settled with a restaurant that has earned not 1 star, but 2 stars in the Michelin Guide. Let's keep in mind that only 500 restaurants in the world have earned this distinction. The restaurant is called Glam. And I'll have to be honest, there is a certain nervousness that sets in before one goes to eat at such a prestigious establishment. I don't know if you feel this too, but I get somewhat apprehensive of being disappointed. But as soon as I settled in, the magic begins and you forget what apprehension even is. The brilliant, charming, and multilingual sommelier took such good care of us through this delicious voyage through Venetian cuisine, deconstructed in the most artistic ways. The meal was a symphony of countless acts that lets you in awe. My basic words can't do this gastronomic experience justice. All I can say is that the abundance, the genius, the unique flavor and textures, and impeccable generosity of the service brings you to another world and makes you completely indifferent to whatever you may be spending. It makes you feel fortunate for having a tongue capable of tasting such unique flavors. Would I come back here? Without a doubt.
And that is it. I hope this list helped you navigate where to eat in this beautiful and delicious city that is Venice. Now, the only question that's left is what to eat. And as it turns out, Venetian cuisine is actually quite different to the rest of Italy. So I made a video on the absolute top classic Venetian dishes that you should try while you're here. So check that out. And if you're interested in more off the beaten path recommendations and restaurant classics, like the video, subscribe to the channel as it'll help me out, help you out. And that being said, I'll see you on the next trip.